What's good, guys? Welcome back to the Milk Carton series. I'm your host, Stephanie. If you are new, and welcome back to Crimus, where we will be discussing 15 cases for 15 days. Now, guys, today is another sad story. It is about the disappearance and murder of Quawan Charles. Quawan was 15 years of age when he went missing, and his body was found in a sugarcane field. And what's truly sad about this story is they have listed his story as drowning, but not the manner of it. And if you guys, I know that his family put out his autopsy photo, and they did this because, as you guys will begin to hear in this case, law enforcement really didn't believe that Roxanne's son, Quawan Charles, disappeared or was missing. But when his body was found, his face was mutated. And law enforcement are basically saying that, well, coroners are basically saying that it was because of animals, because his body was found face down in 2 feet of water. Now, I will definitely link that photo down below so you guys can go see, or I'll post it here because I think it's very important that we talk about this. And when I looked at that photo, I just do not believe that Quawan just drowned. There is trauma there, regardless if the coroner wants to say it happened before or after. It looks like someone did something to this boy. And I'm not even saying that because he's black. But when I looked at his face, I could instantly see something happened to that boy in order for him to drown in 2 feet of water. He is a 15-year-old. It makes zero MFing sense. So let's talk about Quawan Charles' story. So on October 30th of this year, Quawan Charles was last seen. On this day, he was supposed to get his hair cut. He talked about getting this fresh lineup, and his mother, Roxanne, said that he was so excited that it was very odd for him not to answer his phone. Now, Quawan recently moved in with his father, Kenneth, and so she was calling him because she was going to take him and, get him freshed up, which he was so excited about. Now, she calls Kenneth, and Kenneth said that Quawan's door was closed. His bedroom door was closed. And Quawan, from what they have stated in interviews and articles, is that he kept to himself. He was one of those children that, he just did his own thing, which is sometimes out of 10 like some children. So Quawan's door was closed. Kenneth was like, maybe he's asleep, maybe he's playing the game. He's just in his own zone. So it has been stated that his mom's like, okay, whatever. But Quawan was really excited about this haircut because he kept talking about it. So she calls back and says, go in the room, see what is he doing, because, he talked about this haircut, so we got to go get this haircut. So when he goes into the room, Quawan is nowhere to be seen at all. That was very odd of Quawan because his father had stated that while he was out shopping, Quawan was home. Now, this is where this story begins, and it's such a sad story. I think about my son, I think about my daughter, and I'm just like, Lord, because it's the common denominator. When a black child goes missing, they don't get proper media attention. Law enforcement really don't give a flying F. So in this case, that's what happened. Roxanne went to Baldwin, Louisiana, where Quawan was staying with his father. And, when she got there, she flagged down a police officer. Police officer basically was saying that maybe he's out playing football, kind of not really giving any indication that they cared at all whatsoever. And it has been reported they took a statement, but after that, it went silent. It was like they didn't do anything to look for Quawan. And in my opinion, I feel like they probably looked at it as like he was a runaway because, the family said that they didn't give him permission to leave. But 9 times out of 10, kids don't run away. They're going to their friend's home. So sad because Roxanne, Quawan's mother, basically kept saying like something's wrong, something is off. Like a mother instinct never lies. You spend 9 to 10 months with this baby inside of you. You have this like connection, like you just can feel it. And so when she realized that law enforcement wasn't doing what they were supposed to do, they began to look for Quawan on their own. And then after searching for Quawan, a family friend basically said that Quawan was last seen with his friend, a 17-year-old by the name of Gavin Ivory, and his mother, Janet Ivory. And so this is kind of when I feel like law enforcement then begins to take it seriously, because they go to law enforcement and basically tell them like, hey, my son was last seen in this woman's car. He, you know, and then he's moving to a new area where he doesn't really know people like that. Yeah, he probably met this boy. Yeah, you know, he probably thinks this boy his friend, but... And so when police went to question Janet, the mom of Gavin, she basically said that, you know, she had picked Quawan up so that way Quawan can hang with her son. And Quawan's mother basically was saying like her response in some things was very coy. It was very dismissive. So on November 3rd, this is when Quawan's body was found. His body was found basically in water, and this water was about 2 feet high, and they basically ruled it that he drowned because he had, you know, water in his lungs and everything. But then you see his face. His face tells a whole different situation. Yeah, he probably died from being drowned by the hands of another, but his face tells that there is something else that happened that I personally believe, you know, because, well, the coroner basically said that it's from animal-like things being in the water. I'm not really familiar with the Louisiana area. I know that this is a sugarcane field where he was found, and it was a creek more so where he was found. You know, creeks are no more than 2 feet, 3 feet given. And to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense when I seen his face, because I can understand, okay, an animal does something to a human body. This boy didn't have a side of his mouth. He had like a bruise on the top, and I'm gonna actually post this photo. Okay, appears that he has like a gash right here on his forehead, another one on the side. His face, his nose on this side, it looks very odd. His mouth is very slumped, and it's like his mouth goes like that. So his body was found 20 miles from his home. Yeah, and his body was found 20 miles from his home. And the family basically says that Quawan's mother got an anonymous call from someone basically talking about how the mother who picked up Quawan may know more than what she is saying. Basically, their behavior was acting very weird, and that the son was also acting weird too, and their car smelled like bleach, and it kept saying like something's eating them up. I've read, and I'm not sure how accurate this is, because I do know that Quawan's parents never met this boy, and it has been stated that Quawan met this boy that same day. And other people witnesses have stated that they seen Quawan waiting for someone, and he got in a vehicle. And this is where it leads to November 17th. November 17th, there was video footage that is out there. And so there is some video surveillance that I will include that shows him basically sitting, waiting for a car. Car drives up, person gets out, goes and plays with the dog, because it is said that he gave Quawan the dog. Not really sure how true that is, but that's what it says. And then they end up leaving. Now, the Irons were investigated, talked to, whatever, and they basically said that he was with Quawan. You know, then Quawan got up, basically said he was leaving, but didn't say where he was going or whatever the case is. And so there was 2 autopsy reports done, and they both confirmed that Quawan drowned, but there has not been a manner of death, basically, you know, homicide, suicide, etc. It has been stated that when Quawan went missing, law enforcement basically didn't ping his phone. They didn't do anything that they were supposed to do when a missing child goes missing. And one of the family attorneys basically said that someone had asked them about a missing child, and they was like, what missing child? It was like they didn't care. Quawan's photo tells a different story. There's no way in hell a 5'6" foot boy drowned in 2 feet of mother effing water unless someone was associated with him. And his face tells a whole different story. It looks like he has bruises on his face. His mouth is halfway gone. There's just no way in hell that this was not murder. Like, I'm sorry, there's just no way in hell. The pictures tell a different story of what happened to Quawan. He was missing for 4 days. Yeah, October 30th. Yeah, he was missing not even 4 days, if that. October, you might say the 31st. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 4 days. It's just sad because it's like, I think about like that was my nephew or my son or, you know, a loved one, and how people who just don't care, you know, they really just don't care. As I was reading this case, it's like I couldn't imagine what his family feels at all. People really just don't care, and that's the sucky part about it. You know, people just truly don't care. Quawan lost his life for what? Who knows? They probably won't ever get that answer, you know, and I'm praying that someone is held accountable because something happened to that boy that day, and someone's not telling the truth at all. Someone's not telling the truth, and that's just the bottom line. There's no way that photo that I've seen does not match to him just drowning. Something happened to him that day, and all you can do is just say they'll get their karma one way or another, baby. They're gonna get it. Well, that's today's story, guys. I hope you guys like this story. It's such a sad story. You know, anytime a teenager is dead, you know, and you don't really know what exactly happened to your child, that's like a whole other flip of it. So I hope you guys are liking these videos. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And as always, if you have any stories you want me to cover in these 15 days, drop it down below. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.